What's up, everybody in YouTube land? It's a Pleasant Peasant. Finishing working on my Harbor Freight 10x12 greenhouse. I'd shoot a quick video, first ever for the old YouTube, and let's just take a look and see how it all came together, and well, I'll give you my opinion of it. Honestly, I got it 25% off. It's normally $6.79. With the 25% off coupon on Labor Day, I think I paid $5.41 with taxes and everything out the door. So not terrible for the quality of greenhouse you get, in my opinion. I went ahead and got some pea gravel, working on doing the path. And here's the inside. Started working on the shelving. I work at a plastic injection mold factory, and we actually get some pretty damn nice, decent pallets, which I'm using for the shelving. You can see here some of the scraps, and the wood is actually fantastic on these. All I did was cut them for the second, right in the middle where that middle 2x2 is, and that's the length, about 23 inches. They're actually all hardwood. Hit them with the 60 grit sandpaper, and Thompson water sealed them, you know, for water purposes, and they turned out pretty fantastic. They could definitely use another coat. Just use some 2x2s for the base, and then kind of tied everything in with a 2x4 on the bottom. Pretty sturdy. The greenhouse, though, it wasn't as bad as people say to put together. I will say this: definitely follow the instructions. You know, I was nervous about it. People were talking about how bad they were. Actually, if you follow them to a T, it's not that hard of a build, in my opinion. I did it in about 2 weekends by myself. Had a little bit of help from my buddy. The only thing that there's a couple things I don't really like. The windows are definitely just no bueno. They don't like to sit in the seat very tight, and also I'm about 6'4", 6'5", and I can't reach that lever. So what I ended up doing was putting a couple bamboo sticks on, zip tie it so I can push them open if I want, and then it also works to hold them flush and tight in the seat of the framework. The doors, like everybody says, you know, not the best, but I'll tell you what, mine aren't as bad as what a lot of people say. One thing I don't like, the design on them, is the way this is actually together. See these two screws? Hold on, let me get this open. There's screws right there to hold the framework of the door in. The problem also is on the other side there's screws, so when they meet when you close it, and they don't like to close all the way. So we'll have to figure something out for that. But yeah, overall, I am very impressed. I think I live in a pretty small town in Iowa, and you know, I garden quite a bit, and I sell a lot of plants and stuff to the local community. And I'll tell you what, I was building this thing, and people really, in the community, really took an interest in it, which was kind of cool, because I love to talk about gardening, and I got to talk to people that I probably wouldn't normally talk to. I did go ahead and make some, you know, obvious modifications as well. I went and got some 1-inch sheet metal screws, and I put these in, tied this to the frame underneath. Then I went ahead and did the frame. I put in several 3-inch wood screws with a flat washer and put it on and screwed it right to the 4x4s, and then did it with the 1-inch screws as well. So it actually does give me more stability. Now I went ahead and also elevated this on treated 4x4s. I highly recommend doing that. It makes setting the structure way easier, in my opinion. Making sure everything's level. I think this is also the key, is making sure everything's level and square before you start the build process. You know, I also watched a lot of videos. I went ahead and set 1-inch roofing screws right into the panels, and it seems to definitely rigid it up. And I also went ahead and I added some screws to the base plate here as well to really tie this in as a whole. A lot of people say their back wall's loose. Ours is super tight. And what I also did is, since I used the pallet shelving, I actually tied. Instead, I wasn't going to put 45s in the corner like a lot of people do with some conduit, but I think ours is so square and so rigid already. I went and tied them to the shelving, and this thing isn't going to go cattywampus on us at all, I don't think. And overall, I got to go ahead and do some backfill in the back sides, but I'll tell you what, this is a fantastic little greenhouse for the money. If you're willing to spend, you know, about I'd probably put about another $150 to $175 just in the treated 4x4s, the miscellaneous screws, you know, and just hardware and the gravel. So if you're willing to spend a little bit more on the extra stuff, I mean, you're going to have a pretty quality greenhouse for about $750. And I'm really impressed with how it turned out. A lot of people said, you know, a lot of my buddies even said, ah, don't buy that from Harbor Freight, don't do this, don't do that. Well, I kind of showed them wrong in my opinion. So I couldn't actually be happier with the way it is. It's a fantastic starter greenhouse. I've always wanted one. The wife tried to talk me into going with a 6x8, and I just knew, since I'm so tall, that wasn't going to work, just because it wasn't going to be tall enough or big enough. And I know how greenhouses go. My grandparents actually had one growing up, and you know, the number one thing is theirs is about this size, and there's always wanted more space, because once you start getting more plants, you need more space. But I am absolutely in love with this thing. I'm out here quite a bit now, just kind of hanging out and working on it, and started digging stuff out of the garden to put in here for the winter. I'm definitely going to have to do some type of heating method. Ooh, some lemon balm. This stuff is, I love this. So we make essential oil with this. It is so good. Can't beat it. You know, I'm getting gifted a lot of plants. Like, a lot of people are stopping by even when I'm at work, and, you know, for instance, like dropping off these purple pepper plants. They said, hey, we're having problems with them. Maybe you can get them to go. Like your greenhouse, you know, just it's kind of cool. So the neighborhood's kind of donating plants. Got donated a big blueberry bush. We went ahead and put her in some soil, some new soil, and I dug out a pepper tree I had. Yeah, I call it a pepper tree. It's a habanero. I had it in my raised beds of hugelkultur, and it is just a monster. And it really, it's you know, kids have been out here obviously with the squirt guns, which is fine. I got an African marigold, and you know, really, it's just become kind of my own little workstation, and I love it. I close the doors, and the bugs here in southeastern Iowa have just been brutal this year in the backyard. The mosquitoes and the little black, they call them no-see-ums. I think the real name's little black pirate bugs. And I tell you what, I shut that door, and it's fantastic. It really, just really enjoying this whole experience. And I think we're going to definitely be growing some crops in here through winter. So I'm curious to see how it works. I've never actually done this on my own as a, you know, real grown-up adult. So anyways, that's my Harbor Freight 10x12 greenhouse, and I'll update you guys as we get going. I gotta figure out, I'm thinking about doing a Parasine heater or a Blue Flame Aladdin heater for the winter. So, because I just don't think I can afford to heat it with electricity. I'll just never, I mean, my poor little house, it'll cost as much to heat this thing as it will to heat my home, I think, with a 1,000-watt little infrared heater. But that's the greenhouse, and you know, maybe I'll start doing some updates on our garden. We do love to garden around here, and we do quite a bit of it. So anyways, happy Sunday, and have a great day.